Well, here we are back at Jackson again. This time we're meeting at Lowell's here, like we said, and we're going to be looking at material and what to pick up and what you need to do so we can get started on making this house more comfortable and saves.
All the tools. They have your snips and some crimpers and that. One thing they don't have that I do not see that would be good would be some hand folders, double seamers, whatever you want to call them. You call them different things. And I will say that they do have the correct tape, the approved tape that you're supposed to use. And this is with the 3M with your writing on it. And this one here is cold weather. You don't necessarily have it. You see what this is? 3M repair tape. No writing, not approved. But here's one here. This one here is approved, a little narrower. And you have to be careful. See what it says? HVAC tape. It is approved. It has to have the writing on it. It doesn't have the writing on it. It's not approved. For example, let's take this roll here. We just picked this one up. And this is a Nassau, made in USA. Looks nice. This is packing tape. Alright, we're still at Lowe's. Now we're looking for, here's your typical owner. Doesn't he look like a homeowner? There you go. And typically, he knows nothing about heating or cooling. So we have a basement supply that was put in by others that we're going to connect to the ductwork, and we're going to put a return air in the basement. So this is a 6x12. It happens to be the only one they have. So we're going to make it work. And we can put a 6x12 return air right off the furnace in the basement. This should really increase the amount of air and make the whole system work better. Okay, now we're going to move down. We got our boot. Now we need to find some collars. And as you can see, they have collars here. The collars are complicated. Not only do you have to get the right size, but you're talking a homeowner that has limited amount of metal snip usage. So the collar we're going to get is right here.
This one?
This one. And the reason why we're going to get this one is if you look at it, we can screw it on. That looks interesting. But at the other time, it has a self-adhesive sticker.
Oh.
So we can just cut a sloppy hole out, if you cut a sloppy hole out, and cover our hole with a very pretty color. We're not having to worry about tabs and getting the hole perfect so the tabs will go in. Perfect solution for homeowners. So grab 2 of those and put it in the cart. There.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. 1 12x6. All right, so that fits the new boot. Right? Now, we got 2 returns up on the 2nd floor that we are going to put in high wall registers, so we're going to need 2 14x6. And that's for that. That'll take care of the 2nd floor. Okay. One of the other reasons why we are shopping at Lowell's is not only do they have a good selection, but they gave this man a veteran's discount. And we found out there's a supply register in the basement office. Must never connect.
Flex duck out, so now we know how far we're going to do. Now we're going to use one of our fancy dancy collars. We're going to put it on the side of the trunk line here and connect the flex up. So we don't want it too long, but we don't want it too short. So I'd say just about here. We're gonna mark it. All right, now we'll cut her out. Here we are with your standard razor knife, or even a little better than standard. Cut the plastic first. Try not to cut your arm off while you're doing it. By the way,
duct tape makes a really good emergency seal on a vane. So here, okay, now we're into the last part of it. There's an inside plastic. We got the insulation, and we're all the way through, except for one little thing. We have to cut the wire. Do not ever use a pair of metal snips to cut wire. You'll always use wire cutters. If you use a pair of those metal snips like we cut the ductwork, you'll notch the end of the blade, and you might as well throw it out. Okay, well, we have enough light you can see this. You put this on here to make that nice and pretty, and we just make a circle here. So I don't know if you can see it, I can. But here's another good thing about using this type of collar. You don't necessarily have to cut that big of a hole out for this to work. Since we only have 6-inch pipe on this job, and this is a basement register, we could actually cut the hole out a little bit smaller, and it acts like a damper, regulating the size of the amount of air coming out of it. Now that's not a 6-inch hole, but being 10 feet from the furnace, going into a small room in the basement, that's all the air you need. Okay. Magnetic chuck, 1/4-inch drill point, drill screw. Voila. Oh no, the flex is short. Not. Huh. Now, I know a lot of the regular contractors out there are going to be looking at this and say, well, you need to have a zip tie. Well, or panduit strip is what it's actually called, which is basically a master size zip tie. And you need to have a panduit tool to pull it tight enough to make it work. Now, since we're only doing a couple openings, if we were doing a whole house, definitely use that. But since we're using the approved metal tape, this stuff here is, if you do it correctly, you'll get a seal just as good as any panduit, and you won't be able to pull it off. Piece on top, finish it. That's on there. This is some of the old flex duct, the RS4, only 1-inch insulation on it. But it's just fine for in the basement, and it sure is convenient and easy to use.
Here we go.
All right, here we are. We're going to start to look at how we would spot the return air grill for the basement. Now we are behind the furnace here, and here's the wall, and this is the hallway behind us, and we'll go on the other side of this wall in a minute. And if you look here, we have light switches and lots of wires and things. So we're going to put the box down here, actually, saying that this is about 14 inches wide. We only have a 12, since we have a double 2x4 here, this space is narrower. Our 12 should fit in real nice. So now we're gonna have a drill. Where's our magic weapon here?
Here we go. Drill.
Drill. This is the floor on the outside in the hallway. There's nothing in the hallway that is in our way. We don't want to put it right down to the floor for a lot of different reasons. First of all, we got a flat register and it won't work that way. I don't know if there's baseboard on the other side, but that doesn't matter.
There is.
So all we're going to do is we're going to come up. As you can see, it's about 6 or 8 inches from the floor. We're going to draw one hole next to the 2x4. Now we can go on the other side and we can mark out the opening and cut it from there. End of line. Alright, here we are on the other side of the wall. We just drilled a hole through and you can see right here where it came through. We're above the baseboard. We need to be at least an inch above the baseboard so that our register is going to look something like that when we're done. So, we start at A and work to B and C. We only have 2 numbers to remember, 6 and 12. So from here, or 5, now we got a 5, 6, and 12. So, 5, and that will make it 11. Here, get at 5, get at 11. And we want the whole 12. These are pretty good guess, wasn't it? So, take our straight edge, better known as the register, still in the package. Off line. Line. This is like using a square. Up on the side. And it looks fairly close to. Alright. So there we are, precisely cut out. I mean, marked out. Now we just take the saw. Oh! By the way, for those who don't know, never cut drywall with a circular saw. That leads to many divorces. If the saw blade starts to light up and spark, it means you hit an electric wire. That's something to keep an eye on. What? At this point, if you had a razor knife, all you have to do is score it here. You could snap it off more or less. This is also part of the instructions of installing a cat door.
We're live.
Okay, preparing the boot to go through the wall. We're doing a little bit here. All we want to do is get this in on each side.
So you can see all we did was trim up this hole so it was easier to push the boot through. Okay, once the boot's through it, and you just tap down the lip around the outside. So.
Okay,
one. And cover the entire thing up, except for one small mark over here. Alright, here we are behind the furnace. Show you. These are always very nice and comfortable places to work. Here's our new return air that we just put in. We got to connect it to the furnace. Where this furnace is set up, this is the bypass pipe for the humidifier. So, okay, we're going to put this tap for the return air for the basement down here. We're going to get down as far as we can. Okay. Sort of like a can opener, except the cans are easier to open. By the way, I have opened cans with a pair of snips like this. There. Looks like I used a dead chicken to cut that puppy up. Connect up the flex duct. And in doing so, let's spread this up a little bit. We have a boot we're connecting. We do not have as large of a collar as we have on the duct. So when we put the tape on, we want to make sure we get all the way around it, get onto the plastic, and seal the rest of it onto the metal boot. That's what's going to hold it all together. So it's real important. This one. Get it? Since it's in this space and kind of in a place where it can't be harmed, we're going to add it, pull up all the plastic. We're going to take a small piece of tape. We're going to seal the plastic right against fitting itself. Here we go now. To start to connect the last to the duct. This is still that flex duct that we took out from the other side. We still got a piece left over, which we're going to save in case we might need it for some other future supply run or something else. This basement is extremely cold. We only have 2 supplies in it and the 1 return. But this is a super return right near the blower section of the furnace. So that's going to draw a lot of air. But we may not have enough supplies. So we'll save it. Now, moving on again. Doing that, and don't forget that when we do this, you do not again use wire cutters. Do not use snips. That's right. It's very expensive. Snips. So, okay. Coming up to the end here. I just want to make sure that you see this and how we can make these things stick with tape really well, because we're not pushing the plastic all the way to the duct. We leave a small space, and that is how it holds it. Right? On the metal, on the plastic, and in the hole. You won't have to worry about it falling apart. Even if it happen to hit it or kick it, it will still be good to go. So, coming to the end of this one, get ready for the next time when we're going to go and start the duct sealing and taking temperature readings and trying to figure out what else has to be done. Until then, thanks for watching.
it.